Hello there. Today we're talking Britain's Wild West. Yes, hello and welcome to the channel. Now, if you're a returning viewer, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming back and checking out another one of my silly little videos. And if you're a first-time viewer, hey, why not think about subscribing and checking out some of my other silly little videos. There's a lovely little subscribe button down there. It's just itching for you to tap on it. And along with that like button, make sure you hit the like button, because that really does help the channel. Now, okay, let's have a look at what we got today. And what we've got today is some lovely Britain's Cowboys and Indians. So I don't really have that much of a selection, I'm afraid, but this is sort of like the last of my Britons. I've already done a video covering my sort of Second World War army stuff, and one covering my knights, my crusaders, knights and Turks. I can't remember what they used to call them. Now, handily, I have here the catalogue from 1985, I believe. So we can quickly flip through and see what they call the knights. I had it to Cowboys and Indians, Knights and Turks. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, that's another video. I'll put links to those in the description. But this is what we're going to be talking about today. A bit of glare. It's terrible glare coming from my ring. Don't they all look lovely there? But they look better in real life. Now, let's have a quick look at what we got. I'm going to start with the, well, they call them Indians. I know that's not very woke anymore. So we'll start with the Native Americans, shall we? Okay, now here we have our Native Americans. Now, these three guys, I have consulted the catalogue from 1985, and these guys are Apaches, whereas this guy is just a lone Indian. We shall from now on call him a Native American. Now, he's a very good sculpt, and he's got one of the better face sculpts. That's really nice. And there is only got his loincloth there to cover his modesty, and this fantastic bear cape thing, which is pretty cool. You wouldn't want to meet him out on the plains of America, would you? I'm going to say America. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm British. I don't know where Native Americans lived in modern day America. Sorry. Apologies, everyone. But anyway, you wouldn't want to meet him, would you? He doesn't look very friendly. That is a problem with these, all these figures, the cowboys also, is they're all in violence mode. But there you go. Now, that's our one Native American. It's got lovely little moccasins on that. Anyway, now, to our Apaches. Now, as a middle-aged man, this is something I appreciate. A toy with grey hair, just like me, only this guy's got much longer hair than me. Actually reminds me of someone I used to work with. All he needs is glasses and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Obviously the glasses on his face, he wouldn't have the glasses hanging out of his mouth. Anyway, yeah, pretty cool little model. Looks like he's sneaking up on someone, or running away from someone. What do you think? Let's see. Can he sneak up behind this guy? I'm going to sneak up behind you. I'm going to sneak up behind you. Who's there? Oh, run away. Run away. See? Wow. Couldn't we play back in the day? I can still play now. Okay, let's put him back with the Apaches. Guy over there. Now we have this guy. With it looks like a flintlock musket. Well, it's got a flintlock, which is not fair because it's going to take a long time to reload that. I think I need to put in some hot water. Maybe it's got a bit bent over the years, unfortunately. That's pretty cool. Again, he's sort of in that, is he creeping up? It's a bit like the other guy, isn't he? Finally get in focus. Is he creeping? Or is he running? Or is he chasing this guy? Alright, come back, more cigarettes. Right, anyway. And then lastly, we have this guy. He was one of my favourites when I was a kid. Fortunately, he's got a bit of moulded plastic up. Literally had this figure since, okay, let's just say 1985. And I've only just now realised he has a cancerous growth underneath his arm, which I think I'm going to surgically remove with a knife after this video. Will he survive the surgery? Of course he will, because it's 21st century surgery instead of, well, shall we say 19th century? Do you think these guys were around in the 1800s or early 1900s? Don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Not a historian. And if I was, I'd be a very bad one. Right. So, there we go. That's our Native American fellows. Let's give them a little spin. Isn't that just lovely? Right, on to the Cowboys. Okay, now here are my Cowboys. It's a rather small selection, but slightly bigger than my Native Americans. To be fair, I wasn't really into Cowboys and Indians when I was a kid. Kind of got into it later by watching the Clint Eastwood movies. Young Guns, Tombstone, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's enough of that. Right, as you can tell, we're going to start with this guy. As you can tell, how could you tell that we were going to start with this guy? Did anyone guess we were going to start with this guy? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, this guy isn't even a cowboy. He's cavalry. But he's quite a nice sculpt. Kind of like, it's got that, oh, I've run out of bullets, but come on, I'll beat you to death. Something like that. Anyway, interesting fact, this guy was the only guy to survive Custer's last stand. And he managed to get out and get back home. Well, unfortunately, he died of dysentery. Dead. Now, I have these two figures. And they are actually the same sculpt, but with different paint applications. This guy's had his paint applicated? That's not a word. Applied via paintball gun, as you can see here in the midriff. I think he's supposed to be having a white shirt, but that's some terrible paint application. And this guy, I think, had his black shirt painted on by a right-handed person using their left hand. Anyway, the story for these guys is that they were twin brothers, separated at birth when their father got home from the wars and died of dysentery. Unfortunately, their mother couldn't support them anymore, so she sold this one off to a very rich family where he grew up to be a good guy. He's got a white hat, and yes, so he went on to join the law enforcement agency and was one of the best deputies in the land. He didn't quite make it to sheriff. He wanted to. Maybe if he'd lived longer, he would have done. But then he had to hunt down the vicious bandit known as Bob the Bandit. And he didn't even know it was his twin brother. But Bob the Bandit, obviously a bad guy, he's got a black hat. He'd grown up on the wrong side of the law, and he'd robbed many farms, stealing lots of potatoes. What's a potato? And yes, that's how he made his fortune, robbing potatoes. And then one day they met on the street and they had a gunfight funnily enough, neither of them had actually learnt how to shoot. So they just missed. They had 12 shots, 2 guns, and they missed every time. So they just died of dysentery. Now we have this guy. He's a little bit like William H. Bonney. Or was it just William Bonney? Billy the Kid. Doesn't he look like William Bonney, Billy the Kid? He's there, he's having a gunfight against the wind at the moment. You can see his hat's been blown backwards and his little waistcoat is also blowing back in the wind. And he's really fighting it. It's going to fire off all 6 shots. Yeah, this guy lost his battle against the wind and died of dysentery. Now, this was one of my favourites as a kid. He's a very heroic pose. He's got a white hat, must be a good guy. We can say he was a bounty hunter, maybe. Unfortunately, his gun exploded and it did this horrible thing to his face. My God, that's a terrible face sculpt. But he does kind of look, he reminds me of Lucky Luke. I'll put a picture here. But yes, he survived his injuries after his gun exploded, made it home and died of dysentery. He did have a partner, which was this guy. Also a good guy, white hat. He was very good with a rifle. You can see there, he's got his Winchester rifle. Very nice. But all denim with a little red coat. Unfortunately, he died of dysentery. And we've got this guy in his groovy purple suit and brown coat. And unfortunately, his gun got bent. This guy was neither good or bad. He's got a yellow hat. He was the first person to invent disco. You can tell because he's got a disco tash. And obviously, groovy little purple pants. I'm not going to say anything about his pistol being bent. You can make your own minds up about that. But unfortunately, when he got home from the disco one day, died of dysentery. Now, we have this guy on his horse. Very grizzled looking face there. The beard. He was a survivor of the wars, got home. He'd done his time being a soldier. But when he got home, he found out his wife had died of dysentery. So he decided to take revenge on the world and went out to fight all the bad guys. But unfortunately, one day he woke up and his rifle had bent in the heat of the desert and he died of dysentery. Now, the last figure on his horse, the sheriff. Look, he's got a sheriff's badge. But no one realised that this guy was actually a bad guy because he hasn't got a white hat. He was into insurance fraud. No one really noticed. But he was very good at fiddling the figures, as they say. No one could quite work out why his jowls kept burning down. And yeah, it turned out that he was doing it in the end to claim on the insurance. Unfortunately, his gun exploded one time when he was trying to open a packet of peanuts. Sadly, he died of dysentery. So, there we go. That's all my my figures. Okay, so now we're at the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too silly. Or I hope that it was actually silly enough. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. I didn't do any stories for the Native Americans because anything I could think of was probably going to be conceived as being racist. So better to err on the safe side there. But let me know in the comments what you thought. Make sure you hit the like button. Don't bother hitting the thumbs down dislike button, because you're at the end of the video now. But if you didn't like the video, hey, whatever, hit the dislike button, but let me know in the comments why you disliked it. That's only fair, isn't it? Otherwise, share the video with fellow Britain's collectors, and why not subscribe? Go on, subscribe. You know you want to. You want more of these silly little videos, don't you? You need it. You need them in your life. Now, anyway, on that note, I'll see you on the next one.